Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, and I lied. We don't really have Nomiki with us today, but it's only because she's got to get all her signatures, and they told us this morning that they just needed to get out there and look, if it's between having an interview with us, which we can do later, or getting the signatures to actually be able to win the election. I think we're going to choose signatures, right? So that's cool, and we wish her the best and hope that obviously we want her to win because she's a badass progressive. And so Nomiki, good luck, and we'll talk to you afterwards because I'll guilt you about it, so we know we will. But we have other superstars with us today, of course, because ratings are what matter the most. So everybody, and let me stop this before it runs again. Joining us, we have Pat the Burner, Pat Cote. Thank you for joining us, Pat, and Amos and Markus from Germany. So we have, and Christine Lund, who I didn't even put on camera because I'm a camera short today, so that's what we have for. But Christine is in the background. Say hi, Christine. She's muted. Yep. Christine's pulling a Laura.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here.
Sorry, I am here.
There we go.
Background waving. Yeah. I had my mute on.
Sorry. It's all right.
Obviously.
So what we're going to do today, everybody, is just kind of bounce back and forth. You'll hear voices in the background because, like I said, I just got a 4-shot. And we don't have Nomiki with us today, which is okay. We're going to talk about her role, though, a little bit. And then we're going to get into a bunch of other stuff going on, some AOC things, maybe Germany. Obviously, Christine will update us on what's going on with the environment. And we'll talk to you and find out what's going on. There's 24 people here already. Thank you for joining us this morning. Yeah, it's a Saturday. And if you haven't noticed, yes, I am slightly more. Oh, let's keep it running. I am slightly more cheery than I have been for weird reasons, but I don't know that we're going to get into those right now. Pat, how you doing? How are things?
Good. Good morning.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Doing good. I just want to take a general feel from the four of us on screen right now, although Markus, your perspective comes from Germany. But starting with Pat, how are you feeling about the 2020 election so far and the progressive movement? Do you think it's going good? Do you think it's going bad? Just overall,
I think we're in a great position right now. Okay. I think all the campaigns that have launched so far from all the centrists and even Warren have looked terrible. So
yes, agreed.
I think that puts us in a great position if and when Bernie announces.
Okay. I'll go. All right. You don't feel that the giant chunk of pseudo progressives and others that continue to malign the field aren't going to bring us down?
I don't really think so. I don't think any of them will gain enough traction early enough to stay in the race. And I think having their presence on the debate stage is good for progressives. Yep. It just comes down to if they can actually split the vote, which, considering the field is so full of the truly fake progressives, the centrists calling themselves progressives,
right?
They're going to split their centrist vote way more than the progressives are going to split their vote. So I'm optimistic.
Okay.
Good.
That's good to hear. Amos, tell us, and then we'll jump to Christine because I got to swap out shots. But Amos, what are your feelings on it?
I think that as progressives, we stand a much better chance that we have in any of the previous good cases, except the only thing that worries me a little is splitting our own votes. And I know that a number of progressives are running or have made noises that they're running. I know Dulce has put her hat in the ring, and we don't know. I guess Warren has. So the only thing I'm a little concerned about is having our vote diluted by splitting. But I know if Bernie does go ahead, I think a lot of us are thinking of him as the spearhead. So
that's an interesting statement right there. So Bernie, are we all thinking Bernie, or does anybody on this shot, and I'm going to exclude Markus because he's German and can't vote anyway, but is anybody else thinking besides Bernie at this point?
I am hoping for Bernie, honestly. I hope he can get past the primary. If he does, that's my choice. Other than that, it's all about pushing for national referendums and getting the policies we want, despite who's in office. So that's my point.
All right. So Christine, you're all Bernie. And what's your take on the progressive movement, Christine? Do you good, bad? You feeling good about it?
I like that it's getting more out there, like with Ocasio and Ojeda getting out there and actually getting some press, unlike 2016. So I'm optimistic about that message getting out a little bit more.
That's a really good point, actually. And audience, everybody in the chat, tell us what you're thinking. Are y'all Bernie? Are y'all we got Jesse Ventura coming up from chemo here. What are your thoughts on people running? I mean, I do think we're seeing a lot more press, a lot more coverage, or just, I don't know, movement from all these progressives. But we're forgetting the big factor, right? Like, it's all going to be rigged anyway. So
that's what I'm afraid of, but just getting all that attention. And if Jesse, I was on a stream last night talking about Jesse Ventura, and there's some people that are hot and heavy for him. And I just think if he gets the press Trump did, you never know what can happen. So if he gets at least enough points, or percentage of people going for him in the general, we'll at least have a chance for a third party. So I'm okay with Jesse Ventura running too. But
Jesse, huh?
I don't know.
Seems like
I think the nice thing about having Jesse in is he's one of those guys can say the things that establishment folks, even Bernie, can't say.
Yeah.
Just like Trump. He would be the Trump of the left, probably something similar.
So all the things from 2016 that needed to be said that couldn't have been said will be said this cycle.
Right. And we're seeing that in social media from a lot of people, don't you think?
Definitely.
It's interesting the way that's going down. It seems Richard Ojeda, right, Markus? You're a fan, Richard Ojeda.
I like Richard Ojeda, of course, yeah, and I share Chris' feelings about it. I can understand the optimism coming, or the careful optimism coming from Pat, and I hope so. But we all saw what happened in 2016, how the party acted, and I'm very skeptic about what they have in mind to prevent a real progressive and not those fake ones. We'll see.
Agreed. It's and yeah, people, I'm having fun moving shots around while Markus is talking, trying to get everybody on the same screen. It's not working. Just going to hear a lot of voices in the background today.
It's all fine.
It's all fun and good. It's just me being lazy. So, all right. I just, my favorite phrase so far by Ojeda is that he had the courage to say, "Eat the rich." I haven't seen any other.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I so love that.
Yes. And
I was running around showing that video to everybody. Look what he said.
Yeah.
On national TV. That was so awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, Upset Raider here in chat says Ojeda supports fracking, and yeah, he supports coal mining also. But in contrary to other politicians, he's also open-minded to go into renewables, and this is a good aspect to work with. He is I think he's a kind of guy who can make compromises when it helps, and is very, very strong in his attitude when it comes to to establishment policies, you know. And I think this is what I value about him, that he's an honest guy. I don't share all of his political issues, but I think he's an honest guy, and he is what most are lacking. He has authenticity, in my opinion.
Interesting. Wasn't aware of that about fracking. I have a hard time with somebody who, does he believe climate change is real and we got a few years left? Or
he's coming from a coal miner state, and of course he supports his people, you know, and this is what he demands. And he is also open. He says if they can present a good alternative to coal mining, which does not give only very bad wages in comparison to the coal mining jobs, then he's all open to this. But this would need support. This would need investments. This would need investment in infrastructure. All the things Bernie and real progressive want also, you know, to create jobs which are well paid, that people can live from those jobs, from one single job.
I thought he said in an interview that he was for the Green New Deal.
Yes.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's for a just transition, and I think maybe the Green New Deal is the way that gets carried out. But whatever. I mean, again, does anybody think he has a chance in hell? I mean, he's not going to win over Breadbasket America.
But I would, as you said, I would like to see him on stage in a debate.
Yeah,
and I want to see all those fake progressives or all those centrists. I want to see how they can deal with him, and they will fail. I can guarantee you. And this is what I like to see.
Yeah,
and I think someone like Ojeda is a bridge to people a little more to the right.
Yes.
So
yeah.
When he gets out of the race at some point, which is inevitable, he can throw his supporters behind Bernie and help bring in some people that aren't necessarily as left as Bernie.
Yes.
That's an interesting thought.
I like that thought. I really do.
That is, yeah, you kind of nailed it. That's the point of all of these outliers, is to help push the message left, and reach and appeal to those in different markets, and different markets, which is really what we're trying to do, buy votes, right?
Yep.
It's and yeah, I noticed Darcy in chat said the conversation changed. It did. We kind of went off on a tangent on Richard Ojeda, but we're just talking about, you know, the strength of the progressive movement, and I'm being encouraged by what I hear from you folks, because I haven't been excited, really. But that's because I've been buried in Oregon progressive movement, and there is no progressive movement in Oregon. It's a scattered disarray of angry folks, is what I.
That can be depressing. Just try to live in Utah, though, where there's nothing. There's nobody.
Well, you guys.
All Republicans. Well, there's a couple of Dems, but I'm getting disappointed. And Ben McAdams just got. Or just replaced Mia Love, and she sucked really bad. But Ben McAdams, he's pretty much a Republican as well. He's just a light, the Republican light version. And then there's one down in San Juan County, but they're trying to get him out too, and it has to do with the Bears Ears. And, yeah, it's a big mess. Well, Native American down there. It's pretty cool, but.
I get what you're saying. I think from my perspective, in states like Utah, and don't get me wrong, in states like Utah, the disparity is more obvious, and the need for progressive movement is more obvious. In Oregon, everybody thinks Oregon is already progressive, and they're like, there's nothing we need to do here. We got great Democrats, and they're all wonderful, and it's like, no, actually, our Democrats suck. Our Democrats suck.
They're complacent,
and yeah, because they think they're great. Right, Pete DeFazio touts his environmental record. You haven't done shit, Pete. You really haven't done anything. You know, if Oregon was as progressive as they said, it controls we've got a supermajority. We should have a Green New Deal in Oregon now. We should have had health care for all in Oregon years ago, right?
And California.
Yeah. We're not progressive at all. We're just a faux progressive. But let's move on. I do want to. We actually do have topics today, believe it or not. Nomiki Konst is running for New York City Public Advocate. We will talk to her another time, but I do want to just go over what that is and the reason why she's in a hurry. And it's because the election's on February 26th. Okay, this is a weird one of those off-year strange elections. The person who wins this is only elected for a few months, and then they have to run again. So it's even weirder.
Oh.
All right, and the big question isn't who's running, it's who's not running. See, this is like a list from Wikipedia because I couldn't find another way to squish it down. That's a lot of friggin' people running for this job. All right. And Nomiki's kind of in the middle there, and they say she's a progressive activist and watchdog journalist. Right? But you got so many other people on this list. The article that I was referencing here in Curbed, in New York City, is kind of thinks she has an edge, from what I understand, which is cool. I hope she does. The role of the advocate we'll get into more with Nomiki, but it's basically an oversight, like a public oversight on government, and it's got power and it's got a budget. So that's what makes this role kind of cool, is their job is to kind of make sure that New York City government isn't as horrifically corrupt as it has been. And so we hope that we can get a progressive in that role. And there's a link also in the video's description of some great, there's a coverage by Majority Report, Sam Sater. She annihilates Tucker Carlson, and this is a screenshot from that. His face is that most of the time. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't understand. It's just he is so blown away by anything she says, and that it could possibly have relevance to the reality today. It's just so watch that. It's fun, and if you guys want to, this is the best promotion for Nomiki for New York City Public Advocate as I could think of. That's her. I believe this is the Unity Commission, but it could have been the National Meeting of Dem Party Chairs or some other Dem. I don't know what it was. But that's Valdez Bravo, who's first vice chair of the Oregon Democratic Party, and he's supposed to be a progressive. And then that's Nomiki in the headlock there. And I forget who this guy is. Markus, you know who that guy is, right?
I know his face, but I cannot remember his name. Yeah, he's a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a wrestler.
As it seems,
I don't know. Do you recognize him, Pat? I don't.
No idea.
Yeah.
I see the guy looks like Seinfeld behind him, but
yeah,
I didn't see that. Nice. All right.
Cool.
All right. So that's Nomiki anyway. She's good for. There's some good clips of her. Anytime she's on MSM, it's always a fun. Just...
And this slide, it was so funny. I think it was last week when she was on Fox News, and there was Koran Lewandowski also. Yeah, and she blew him away. She laughed him in the face. You know, he said that he was living in a complete different universe than anyone else, and I don't know. I have no clue what Koran Lewandowski was talking about. Then he addressed Clinton stuff and Elizabeth Warren and her cheeks and cheekbones, and it was complete. The thing was completely nuts. You got to watch it. The Rational National talked about this and in his videos, and it is too funny. And she was laughing all the time at him, and she was hilarious. A great clip. You should watch it.
She has a great spirit.
Yeah, she has, absolutely.
And we're hoping that the fact that this is an off election and out of not expected the low turnout election is actually going to work in her benefit, because that's where the feet work and the knocking on doors is actually going to make more of a difference than the big advertisements and so forth.
Which explains why she blew us off today, everybody. So that's it. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Rather have her out there on the street, I guess.
Yes,
now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's totally. I could be butthurt about it, and I am, but that's okay because I know that I can use this footage to guilt her into coming on anytime afterwards. So that's just leverage.
There you go.
No, I'm not. I mean, look, she's a cool person. She's awesome. But this is about the progressive movement, right? So
she is.
I wish her the best. Wish her luck. Let's. I don't know. It's. Anybody final thoughts on good feelings of the progressive movement? I'm surprised. Everybody seems to feel good. No? Okay. All right. Well, let's move on.
There.
What, Christine?
It's getting more mainstream, and that's what I'm optimistic about.
See, that makes me sad because when music goes mainstream, it gets worse, and we're kind of seeing.
That's true. That's true.
The point.
Okay,
That's the point. Yeah.
It's still better than it just staying in the shadows and people don't understand.
Yeah.
Just want the populace educated, and that's what we need.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, the voice of Christine from the back studio, everybody. I'm
a ghost.
I just got Pat on screen for ratings, really.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
Sorry, it used to be Laura for cleavage, but she's off taking a break, having a life. So now I got Germans and Beards and Pat, and then Christine. But we'll get to Christine later. Markus, you want to get on to we'll just go into the AOC topic here. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, we remember last week there was the great big scandal about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez dancing. Yes, could we expect it could even get worse? I don't think so, but it did. We got the nude photos here, This is a scandal.
Oh my gosh, bare feet.
That's right. Yeah. These are nudes, apparently.
Bare feet. And the bizarre thing is, it seems it is coming from a site called WikiFeet. It seems there are some people obsessed by feet, and they're collecting photos of feet. And yes, what I heard after this came up. The real owner of the feet, of course, these are not the feet of Alexandria.
No,
the real owner,
imposter feet.
The real owner of those feet, I saw this in some news. I don't remember where it was. She said that she would completely support Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but it was clearly that it's her feet and not Alexandria's. And this gave this story another strange touch. But you got to see what goes on in the mind. I'm asking myself in the conservative mind. They are coming up with a dance video last week. They're coming up with a foot video, a foot picture. I don't get it. What's going on in their minds?
And since when is a picture of feet a nude? Just
well, she's in the tub, so she's obviously nude.
Yes,
right.
Yes. They're nude feet, Pat. I mean,
it was declared to be a nude photo. This was a scandal.
It's just good journalism, Pat. It's when there's nude feet, there's nude feet, and
that proves there's a nude body and that she takes baths.
I don't know. Yes,
everything backfires on them.
It does. It does. I mean, it's.
I would like us and the chat maybe to speculate what would be the next scandal for next week.
You can't.
What would be the next level of idiocracy? No
one can know. No one can know for sure.
You can't. Look, SNL is losing because you can't write this stuff. It's been this way a while. I mean, I saw the story. Just the story of AOC doing the Onion Instagram and then the beer with Warren. When the Beto dentist story came out, I thought it was the Onion. I'm like, there's no way he would be dumb enough to Instagram his fucking dental visit. Nope, he did. That's right.
Yeah, but Bernie's the cult.
Right.
Maybe we will see Joe Biden at his proctologist. No, let's go into details.
It's waiting for next.
Come on, this is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Alexandria, as we know her, she replied to this bullshit, and you can go please to slide 14.
Yeah, you're going too slow on the slides. I hit both those slides already, man. You just got to fly through.
I'm sorry. Let me talk.
All right, go on. Let the German talk.
The GOP have been losing their mind and frothing at the mouth all week. So this was just a matter of time. There's also Daily Mail reporter Ruth Stiles going to my boyfriend's relatives' homes and offering them cash for stories. This is what kind of journalism is it? It is bullshit journalism. We know this. I think it's a good, appropriate answer from her to all this stuff. And then she addresses in the next slide the fake news and complete disgusting behavior from conservative outlets. Yeah, and no wonder why they defended Kavanaugh so fiercely. And again, the question is what goes on in the conservative mind. And then we're coming to the next topic. We got a scientific approach to to this issue, and it is explained in the Huffington Post, and it is called, which is quite funny in my opinion, the AOC derangement syndrome, which is going on in the conservative minds, that they feel completely threatened by a young woman who is standing on their own feet and who is breaking the law, who is questioning the patriarch system and everything. And this is, of course, very, very hard to get in I would say in a reptile mind of a conservative, right? And of course, they are not used to handle such a woman, and this is a real threat to them. Say neurologists who are dealing with, who check this, who examined all this, how it works, how conservatives work in the end, how they're approaching women or progressive thoughts, and this is this is what we have to deal with, what Alexander has to deal with, and we can see it in the last slide, where it is quoted. I think it is a disconcerting place for men who may be used to attractive women seeking their validation, and this is exactly what Alexander is not doing. She is standing on their own feet, and she is causing a lot of trouble. What I love. Agreed,
and the what you're describing there, Marcus, is we all see this. Nobody's just called it out. Is that there's a problem with men in general dealing with women in power, and certainly with the GOP, who are so repressed sexually, it seems, just fucked up in the head. And I hate to say it, everybody, but religion has a lot to do with that.
Yes, it does.
And yet the first lady has action.
What? Well, I dealt with that my whole life.
Yeah.
So in Utah and being in management, and it's just the way they consider you. If you try to draw the line somewhere with an employee, oh, you're just being hormonal or bitchy. But when a guy does it, that's just fine. And it's different. You have to be so much more careful. And not, you have this fine line between not being too bitchy and being tough. You have to be right down the middle. You can't waver one way or the other.
Well, and we're taking it from you're the only woman we have here in the production studio at the moment, so your perspective is kind of unique, and it makes me feel like I need to apologize on behalf of all gross men. Pat, what were you about to say?
I was just going to say the hypocrisy of always going after Ocasio for these things when, the first lady has literal nude pictures.
Right. Let's not even discuss.
True.
So they're selective about their outrage, of course.
Yeah. But that's Definitely. Everywhere. In everything, it seems, with all of this.
Both sides, right, left, they're all selective in their outrage. It's like the team cheerleader thing. It's like one side can't do any wrong and one side only does good, and I hate that mentality.
Right, and with Ocasio, she'll get criticized for wearing clothes that are too poor or clothes that are too nice.
Right.
Both sides of it.
And the last time I remember this kind of scrutiny was with Obama over race, right? Wasn't gender. And but it was ridiculous what they did.
And his tan suit. The tan suit was kind of ridiculous too.
Oh yeah, the tan suit.
But the positive thing about all this, which I really appreciate, I would say what I can see here of those bullshit smear attempts, I embrace all of them, to be honest, because it shows one thing, that they're shitting their pants for a new Congress member, for a new representative of the House, which is now for how long in office? 2 weeks now? Is this the second week? And they're shitting their pants. She's on a daily basis covered in Fox News and all the right-wing media. And I think it's wonderful. They're literally shitting their pants for AOC. And I love it. And AOC, she got the trademark. Well, she is a great figure for progressives, and I enjoy it. I enjoy every smear attempt because I know she will hit back.
Of course, and
It's like an hour.
Like Trump knows so well, it's there's no bad publicity, and that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's excellent at it. What were you saying?
Well,
what, Pat?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think their strategy was to build her up, hoping to knock her down, and I think they're still going with that a little bit. But they're realizing every move they've made so far has backfired. So I think they may back off of AOC pretty soon, because they're not going to get a Sarah Palin moment they're hoping for.
Yeah.
No.
But she's not Sarah Palin. That's a different.
Right. Yeah, they're not going
Way smarter than Sarah Palin.
Which doesn't say much, but yes, that's...
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Amos, you dropped the slide in here at the end of the slide 22. What is this reference with the GDP
That was in reference for her tax quote that she was attacked on. So basically, Markus, you want to set this up, or?
No, you can. If you're going to go on, you can continue.
Okay.
I only. Yeah, please go on.
Well, so she was attacked by right-wing media for mentioning something about having the higher percentile tax raised to it. I don't know if she mentioned 70%, but that was the implication. And
marginal tax.
And we're talking here about the tax over 10. I think it was $10 million. If you make more than $10 million a year, whatever over that, you get taxed at that rate. So it was immediately people jumped on it. How terrible this would be, because it would remove incentive of billionaires to work, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you look at that slide,
what billionaire works? I'm sorry. There's no billionaire alive that works right now. Just gonna say. Anyway, go on.
The point is that it would remove their incentive of initiative, which is absolutely not true. That has not been people at that level of income. That's not what's motivating it. It's not like they need to buy another coat or gifts for Hanukkah. It's like basically just amassing their empire, and at that point it really makes the income part of it is not the main motivator. And we can see that in the slide. They've actually compared to the economy function with the tax rates, and we could see that early on in the 30s the tax rate was actually kind of like in the 90s, and for a much lower threshold, I believe it was $600,000 and up, you would have to pay that much, and it has no adverse effect on anything other than that. So the whole claim is completely made up.
Yeah, yeah, like many things.
And the opposition against the tax plans, what we saw mostly in the right-wing media, again, Fox News, etc., who tried to ridicule the plans, and it was widely shared with the conservatives, of course, was the fact that maybe there is still the American dream that a lot of people are dreaming, that they are thinking, oh my God, when I'm going to be a billionaire, I have to pay all these taxes, and this is completely stupid in my opinion, right? How many, Amos, you know the number? How many would this inflict, these 10 million, 70+% tax?
Well, so depending on how you calculate it, it could be as much as 0.5% to 0.1%. So
of the population.
That much?
Oh my God!
That much? Okay.
So
then
all our donors.
Right.
Then
and if you're making $10 million a year, I don't think you're going to be in a hardship.
How do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've never
It's
been.
all wrapped up in real estate. They have no cash.
So the question, my opinion would be: should we go on, or should you guys go on and pamper those guys, or should you invest the money they owe the society?
Well,
right.
Okay, we should do what the Germans are doing, right? Which is tax their people more. But we'll see if we can get there. Yeah.
The billionaires, I'm sorry, big corporations, they're not paying into the system, into the community at the level that the workers are. And that's not fair, not right, that they're using our infrastructure without actually putting into the infrastructure.
Oh, come on, Chris. You know that the rich people are the job creators. Come on, stop making that stuff up.
Oh, yeah, of
the
course.
Job creators. Chris. I know what you're talking about.
Trickle down will start working any day now.
The trickle down is key.
You know what? I remember being 12 and hearing that trickle down was going to start working from Reagan. And I'm still waiting. I have faith. It's like being a good Christian, right? Like, they never gave us an end date on that stuff. You're just supposed to believe.
Someday it will kick in, but trickle up works way better. You pay your people well, then they have consumers that can actually buy the products they're making and the services they're giving. And what
do you know?
Yeah.
You're not even
I know,
a woman.
It's nonsense. It's I'm up in the night. It's just crazy talk. I understand.
Leftist commie.
Yeah.
My favorite. Okay, so the last two things on the AOC train is just her owning of social media, which is she really does. She owns social media, and
She's good.
Paul Chaitlin. Everybody know Paul Chaitlin. You see him on Facebook. He's always just rage Facebooking. That's Paul, and he says a lot of the things that I would say anyway. I just thank you, Paul, for saying that, because I'm not going to now. He said she needs to marry me. He just loves her for this. I don't even remember this quote from The Watchmen, but if you guys all know The Watchmen, quote Alan Moore, "None of you understand. I'm not locked up in here with you. You're locked up in here with me." And that was one of her quotes. I thought that was pretty badass. And then this is my favorite, and I actually changed the title on the Uphill Media Twitter to say this. When Joe Lieberman...
I was wondering about that. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't know what this was? This is so awesome.
No, I didn't understand.
Fuck off, Joe. It's basically the best way to say fuck off, Joe. Joe Lieberman's an ancient corporate Democrat who did a lot of work to ruin the Democratic Party, and he'll be remembered for that. And he's completely irrelevant. He's not even fucking in office anywhere. He's retired, living off the money he earned from blood money. And he writes this op-ed or whatever, Ocasio-Cortez isn't the future of the Democratic Party.
Isn't it amazing how all the people that lost and were terrible strategists end up getting all these articles written and talked about?
Yeah. All of a sudden, they're brilliant. They're brilliant.
Interviewing them. You lost to a Republican, but please do tell us how someone can win to a Republican.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Enlighten me.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So this is her response. It's just the most simple, brilliant. New party. Who dis? Like, who's this Joe Lieberman, old fossil? Never heard of this guy. It's just... And
every time she does something human like this, someone like Warren comes out and tries to clone it.
Right.
So she's going to come out with something like "Where my peeps at," or and it just shows how unhuman they are and how scripted. And
you got Steve King on the other side trying to do it for the GOP, right? What's wrong with white supremacy? When did that become offensive? Yeah. White supremacist. He's trying to reach out to his peeps.
Yeah, and Pat is absolutely right. Look, it is not only Beto or Elizabeth Warren. It is also Chuck and Nancy. It was like a part from the Rocky Horror Picture Show when they were standing at the podium.
Oh God, that was.
But it creates great contrast for the authentic candidates like Bernie. So if you watch their message and then you watch Bernie's message, you could see how he handled it correctly.
Yeah.
Emotion and facts.
And didn't Bernie's message get more views than Trump's address anyway? I think it was.
I think so.
People knew it was only bullshit coming from 45.
It was such a letdown.
All the after shows got more views than Trump's speech, so that was
it did.
Yeah.
So everybody remember we have Amos hiding in the background. I just have him off camera at the moment. It's just a voice. So that was fun. It's a fun discussion of AOC. She's really shaking up things more than I expected, and that's just wonderful.
She keeps it up. We need it.
What is it? The political article where Democrats are exasperated We don't know what to do. She's saying truthful things. God help us all.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing in the audience? Good to have you all here. It's like 60 people. Holy shit.
Oh.
All right. We're going to talk about some climate crisis, right, Chris?
Yeah. Well, it's always a crisis here.
Well, just give us an update on what's going on in Utah, because you're Utah, and it's a beautiful place, except for the fact that a bunch of Republicans run it, and you've got Romney the clown. So tell us what's going on with the latest. You're going to give us an update.
I gotta reuse the Romney clown picture.
Oh, it's a beautiful picture.
You know how fun that. So yeah, Romney. My last week I talked about how Romney wanted to put public lands as a priority, and he didn't fail. I mean, within days, like he hasn't even been in office 2 weeks, and he's already put forth legislation to stop any monuments growing. They call it the Pure Act, which I think is kind of funny, and you'll see in the last slide after. But him and Mike Lee got together and reintroduced this. Pure Act's been around for a little bit, but he went and reintroduced it. They're trying to push it through. I think the reason they're trying to push it through, because right now they are already skirting around the environmental studies they're supposed to have, and all the other studies that are supposed to go on before they offer leases for mining and drilling. So right now they're scooting through that, but I think they want to make it permanent so that when Trump's out of office, they still have the option to sell all of this land off for leasing. And he always makes it sound so pretty that it's, you know, to protect the land, and that Utah, the people closest in Utah, know how to manage the land better. But what I mean by that is they know how to make on it better. And that's what it's all about, is the mining and the leasing. And,
so what's the Pure Act?
Roads.
What's the Pure Act, Chris? Because you're talking about this here. Is this a new thing, or it says reintroduce?
Reintroduce. It's been introduced before with Senator Lee, but it's always died. But now they're hoping they can get it out. It's I should have written down what the acronym stands for, but it sounds like it's a good thing. It's like,
of course, something
about the public lands, you know, Rural Protection Act or something. I don't know, but it's not doing what they say it's doing. It was really funny because the first thing I did when I heard about this on the local news was I looked up Pure Act and ended up getting this crazy quote, but because it's an actual super religious thing, like it's a religious theology, and I was just wondering if that had anything to do with you know, the Utahns and their huge
dog whistle.
In the
yeah, I could see that,
and all that.
I could see that.
Yeah. So dang, why didn't I write out?
Well, that's all right. So we know it's bullshit, because a lot of these things do that. Like Food for Healthy Oregon is just a pact to put pesticides on our food. So
so they want to get the public lands back in not back in, but in the hands of Utah,
right?
So that they don't have to go through all the extensive permitting process.
Right. This was about. We talked about this before. This was about. Right now, it's in like federal hands because it's the monuments and parks, but they want Utah to have control. But the real reason is for mining and stuff, right?
Yeah, they don't want any, because once it's a monument, they can't do all the mining on it.
Right.
So they want to make sure no new mining or new monuments are made, and they can't make them bigger. So that's what this is all about. And it also gets Utah out of the Antiquities Act. So, well, that's pretty much what this monument thing would do, because the Antiquities Act is what presidents use to create the monuments, but it would make it so the president, the Congress, and the state legislature would all have to agree to make the monument instead of it just being able to be done by the president. So it would make it seriously impossible to establish new monuments.
Exciting. What a great way to go.
Yeah, just Utah.
Utah doesn't need any more monuments. You have plenty. You need to do some mining.
We do have a lot of monuments, but every single one of them needs to be there. So
you think?
Yeah, I do. I enjoy our lands here. That's the best part about Utah. It's certainly not the people. But when you're driving to these places and all you see is oil rigs and the air is getting yucky, and
yeah, that's
I'm afraid to lose all that.
I see it in Colorado now, you know. I see it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Colorado's bad too. I'm sure. Yeah, looking for the stuff for Utah. I always see stuff in Wyoming and Colorado as far as the mining and the air problems and the water pollution.
Yeah, I think Mitt and the rest agree that the lands need to stay there for the purpose of exploitation. They just add that on the end. So they're introducing. Yeah. What is this quote? You got a couple quotes here. Encyclopedia. What do you get these quotes?
Yeah. They were just related from SUA, Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance, Scott Groen. Yeah, I said I could expect the short-sightedness from Senator Lee, but it's extremely disappointing to see one from Senator Romney's first acts in Congress being such an unconsidered parroting of worn-out anti-environmental talking points. And that's exactly what it is. They go over and over the same arguments and trying to make it look like it's for multiple use. And that's always the thing they use. Multiple use means mining. Right. Because it's already there available for people to go hike in, right. Bike in, and enjoy. And they already graze there. Multiple use. Every time you hear anybody in Congress wanting to change the lands or take control of them, when they say multiple use, that means mining. That means drilling. That means poisoning your air and water, period. Because you can already use it for everything else that they say that they use in their arguments.
It's multiple use. It's like mining and driving the trucks to and from mining.
Right. Oh yeah, let's get the transportation industry.
Oil lines, pipelines, whatever, multiple use.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's code. Whenever you hear that, just beware. That's what that means.
Did anybody expect anything different from Mitt Romney, which leads me to question why he was elected in the first place? I don't know. That's just.
Well, it's brainwashed to think that they really do care about the land, but we need that economy boost. We don't have any money for education, and a lot of that land gets put into the public trust funds for education, and the profits supposedly go to education. I don't think they do. We would definitely have a better education system if that were to happen, but that money is ending up in the pockets of those people and the contractors and the oil industry. It's not helping our education, but that's what they tout. I've listened to the meetings, the chair meetings on all that, the House Committee on Natural Resources. I've listened to several of those, and that's always their argument, that the money is going to go to school kids. So how could you say no? And of course, it doesn't matter. Let's destroy on the back of the kids. I went on a Twitter storm on that when I first heard them say that over and over. I'm like, no, it's not about the kids. If you're going to poison the kids, why? How is that for the kids? It's poisoning their water. It's poisoning the land. It's ruining land that they could have enjoyed, and taken their kids to. It makes me ill. I'm sorry. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It's like I live in that and I see what's going on there. And when I see it being ripped up and destroyed, and the water, it takes hundreds of thousands of gallons of water to process in these mines. So all these reservoirs I'm passing are turning up empty. And I've been down there for like 4 years, and then within a 4-year time, these reservoirs that were full are hardly there at all now. And that's up where the mining is. So they're draining all the drinking water, poisoning it, and then poisoning the air on top of that. Like the Vernal, I will keep repeating this till people understand. A 30,000 people town had as much emission pollution as 8 times the LA basin, or 100 million cars. I'm going to be like Bernie. I'm going to repeat those stats. That's what mining does. That's what it does.
It's horrific. I mean, we know it's horrific. And yeah, it's.
Imagine the cancer rates there in 10 years.
Yep.
You know,
they're horrible. And stillbirth
now.
Rates. And yeah, it's already happened that way.
It's amazing.
There has been, that's how when they tested it, they tested it because of the unusually high stillborn rates there. So it's bad. It's bad now.
It's amazing that you say that. Everywhere we talk about these environmental problems, there's instances of health issues. But you never hear the news connecting the rash of health issues to the environmental problems, to the businesses that cause the environment. It's never like this connection.
Right.
I don't understand how we started mining uranium. A lot of people are dying from radiation. No connection there. And we certainly don't want to blame the business. You know.
Well, I would think when it comes to fracking, that's why we're not allowed to know what chemicals they use.
Right.
Because then you can connect the
dots.
They're
proprietary.
Right.
Now, you can't go take in those companies' proprietary information because one has a better chemical to use to extract it than the others. You can't know that.
Well, more importantly,
that's the other thing.
We don't need to know, and I don't need to know anything that's in it. It lights on fire. If it's something that will make your water light on fire, it's all you need to know. I mean, really, what else do you need to know about fracking water?
Yeah. It's just fracking needs to be done like entirely, and it's just. They're exploding with fracking leases out here. Just
of course.
Insane. While Trump's in office, they're so taking advantage of it.
Of course they are.
It's scary, honestly.
Well, connecting the dots. By the way, if you're a salad eater, just be aware that you shouldn't eat a lot of
leafy vegetables.
Romaine. And that's the outbreaks that we've heard on recently are not just completely random. It follows an action by the administration to demolish some regulations that were constricting the use of cow manure in use with certain crops, and I think we're going to see more and more of these outbreaks. So not a lot of places report about it.
If you eat leafy vegetables, eat the kind you can cook. Seriously, because almost all leafy vegetables are polluted and contaminated.
Grow your own.
It's just the way they irrigate the crops and everything that's happening around where they're grown. They're not safe. I won't eat it. The spinach, I'll throw it in everything cooked, and I won't eat raw leafy vegetables anymore.
Well, I think on the greater scale of things is that, let's not all get paranoid about all of our food choices, but the FDA and the USDA and other government departments are no longer inspecting as much, right? Things have been shut down.
Not at all right now.
Not at all. So yeah, I mean, we do need to be concerned. And there were rules passed, the Common Sense Nutrition Act, which lessened the amount of information they need to put on their stuff, right? Yeah, the government hasn't really done anything to help us know what's in our food, really, or to improve it over here. And that's really the overall point, whether it's, your greens, everything that's been done, fighting the immigrants that actually pick your lettuce, to making sure it's sprayed heavily with pesticides and ignoring that it's sprayed with pesticides. That's where we're going today.
Or now they found glyphosate on avocados, and on the news they're telling you just wash it off. You can't wash off glyphosate. It's a systemic. It goes in through the roots. You can't wash it off the outside of the plant.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Wash off that cancer.
What are these people being told? Oh my gosh, you can't wash off glyphosate.
It's pretty
Sorry,
crazy.
Chemicals are one of my professional things. So.
That's all right. Thank you. The environment's and as we've said before, the environment's really the only problem, quite frankly. It's everything else matters.
The biggest.
But, what, Chris?
It's definitely the biggest problem.
It's
a climate issue.
62 people watching right now. Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Bounce back. We got a whole bunch of people hanging out in the group, and if you didn't catch from the beginning, Nomiki is not with us, obviously, but she will be another time after she wins her election, we hope, which is February 26th. And if you're in New York City, get out and vote. It's a weird one of those elections. February 26th. It's a Tuesday, so get out and do that. Wow. Look at all these people talking in chat. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, Pat Cote, for being here, and Christine Lund, and Amos Elroy, and Markus Krantz. I can't even show everybody on screen, but I want to just thank you all for being here, part of this conversation.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. I wish I could see the chat. I had to turn it off because it was slowing down my feed. So
I know we still got you're still stuttering over there every once in a while. We've got to get that internet going, the broadband for the United States, which is far behind many other countries and everything, actually. I love how the USA went from being #1 in just about everything when I was a kid to double digits in just about everything. Don't even know what it is anymore. It's just hi, Louise. How are you doing? So many people. How are you all? Nice to see you. Nice that you're having a good conversation in there. It's top of the hour. Markus, do you want to talk about our German ambassador that has no friends, or do you want to just move on? It's up to you.
It's up to you. We can talk about this in 1 week. We can do this now because it's not that important.
It's funny though. It's funny.
It is funny, and it is as I call him, the American ambassador in Germany, and this guy Richard Grenell, he cannot find any friends, and it is very hard for him. And invitations, when he's very hard to try to invite lawmakers here in Germany to come to dinner parties or something like this, and they all refuse. They all have nothing to tell him, and he's pretty isolated here in Germany. What is not quite true, of course, he has some very, very good friends. They're coming from the AfD, and they are cheering when they see him. And
right.
Yeah, the AfD, to explain it quickly, is the right-wing party here in Germany. And they appreciate him. And all the others, they are happy when they see only his back, just to say like this. And,
did they kick out a previous guy?
I'm sorry?
Who was talking? Is that Amos?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say that Trump would send him some of his friends, except they're all waiting for jail time. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we can see it here. That we talked about him, I think, two weeks ago when he was addressing the fake reports coming from Der Spiegel Online, and he was addressing this very harshly. That the general reports from Der Spiegel were anti-American and anti-Trump, and he was complaining and whining, and well. It is best he goes again. I said it the first day he arrived here. It is better he leaves again. And we don't have no American ambassador here than an American ambassador. And get the hell out of here. And it's good.
This is a sad thing about the administration. I mean, he hasn't even picked enough ambassadors for all the countries, right? But the ones he's picked, he's sending losers like this, and nobody wants to talk to them. So.
Yeah, they don't have anything to tell him because he's a Trump guy. And what deals can you make with Trump? Trump cannot make any deals. We see this, and every conversation, every deal attempt is useless in my opinion. So, well.
All right then. Well, making friends abroad, that's good.
Yeah.
I'll be heading.
We'll do better in February.
No, let's keep the peace. Let's just try to keep. I'll be heading to Germany on February 14th. We just need everything to stay calm until I get back. That's all. Just no crazy shit.
We'll try.
It's unfortunate. I know this is happening in all the countries around the world. With anywhere Trump sends somebody, I'm sure to represent.
Of course.
Except for maybe Poland. Who would like it? Who likes him? Turkey, Poland, Brazil these days.
Of course, all the countries who are now governed by right-wingers.
How many fascists?
Saudi Arabia?
Right? Russia? So it seems like everybody we used to kind of fight is now friends, almost, except for those ones that are just good customers, and they're just in between. Right?
Yeah.
Good customers. It's nice. All right, everybody. Well, We're just down to the last bits, which is what we're doing, and then we're going to get out of here with music story time. Pat, if you want to hang out for the whole thing, you can. If you want to get out of here, you can. Same with Christine and anybody. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go over. We've had a lot of changes with UHM that you guys aren't even aware of. Actually, just kind of internal things going on. Most of it's been me trying to figure out what exactly we're gonna do heading into 2020 as a volunteer nonprofit, right, and a media org. And as I was making some decisions, a lot of things changed, and I was like, oh shit, I got to make some new decisions. Often when you've made a plan and you think you're going to set your plan in motion, something happens and it fucks up your plan, and then you have to rewrite. And I think that's where the Democratic Party is now with AOC. Like, fuck, we weren't expecting this, right? What are we going to do about her? Right? So this is what we're going to do. We kind of rearranged everything here, and I invested in some stuff, and been talking with Markus and Larry, and I love the Saturday show. I love the fact that we have new people that are doing it, Christine and Amos and Pat, and you know, ratings are better than ever. So really, like, stuff, people are starting to look at our old videos and stuff. We're kicking back into the election season, right? Even though we just left 2018, we're already into the big 2020. Right, midterms are midterms. The big one starts now. So candidate interviews, but we're going to do them differently. I'm not going to do We the People anymore. We the People was way too intensive, required a lot of people and a lot of time and a lot of effort for very little views, right? And so I need to do more. Instead of trying to do one really great interview show that takes an hour and only being able to interview 2 people a week, I want to start cranking out smaller interviews so we can help as many people as possible. So on the West Coast, but I'm open to anybody. Matter of fact, Artie, I don't know what your last name is, but you hit us up from Illinois. We'll do a 20-minute interview with you. We'll do these. They will be pre-recorded. We won't go live, but then we'll post them on YouTube, and we'll have chunks, and we'll use them for different live shows and live events. But we're going to create a format just to do interviews and get them done. That said, if you know of a candidate or you are a candidate, reach out to us. I'm not going to do any outreach. We're just here. We have a media network. I'm going to broadcast that we offer these services, but it's not like I'm going to go out and try to find candidates for things. That's your guys, that's ground team's responsibility. Okay, so you guys find candidates, info@uphillmedia.org, bring them to us. We can do interviews through this technology we have here. We also now have a process and resources and some really cool stuff to do opposition research. So if you need to have data against, you know, some incumbent Democrat or whoever it is that's a piece of shit, we got you covered, okay? And then out of that, we can create tactical media between the interview with you, between the data against your opponent. We can create tactical media with you. We're still going to do live events. I just don't know how many. I'm not going to chase Bernie this time. I don't have the energy for that. And that's also really time intensive. And while it does bring a lot of great views, there's a huge bunch of other independent media networks that broadcast Bernie, and they get way more views. So there's no reason for us to do a lot of that. So I'm going to focus on just getting more progressives elected by doing these things here. And Larry, of course, will continue the Progressive Oregon show. And just a message to the progressives. I don't know what leadership of progressives actually watch this show. Probably no one. But if you're a member of Our Revolution anywhere in the West Coast, or I don't care, anywhere, if you're a member of Justice Democrats or Brand New Congress or Democratic Socialists, I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying since day one, which was June of 2015. We're here. We have a lot of resources. You got to support us and communicate with us so that we can communicate and support you. But if you're going to act like silos and we don't know what the hell's going on, we're not going to get anywhere. So let's all try to communicate this time and work together, not run candidates against each other, right? Let's work together more. That's the one thing I don't see happening as much as I had hoped. It was a lot more cohesion between all of these groups, and maybe that's starting to form. And that was really where I was going earlier with that question, Pat, is do you see more of a coalition forming with the progressive movement than we saw in 2016? You know,
Yeah, I would hope so. And I agree with you. In 2018, we had a lot of progressives running against each other, and it worked against us in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But I think out of that comes name recognition and people that will rise to the top. And in 2020, I think we're in a better position with, the unified sort of progressive candidate in a lot of races, at least.
Agreed. Okay, that's positive. Right. Anybody else with thoughts and feelings on that?
Not yet. It's too early for me to.
No.
Yeah. We will see how things develop, and it's too early.
Same here.
Okay.
Same here.
All right.
Just waiting.
All right. Well, I'm with you all. It's a lovely Saturday. We're going to get out of here with some music. Thank you for joining us here. Again, reach out to us, info@uphillmedia.org if you're a candidate or you want to try to help somebody or you see what we do. All right? This is what we do. And we've been here. We do it for a while. This isn't a sales service. We're a nonprofit, right? So as always, we ask for donations from anybody that's a viewer. Donate.uphillmedia.org. That's how we survive, right? That's how the progressive movement survives, is donations. So let's keep that in mind. And nobody gets paid here. All that money goes to cover overhead services like, the domain dpoplatform.org, which we built and put up the Oregon Democratic Party platform so that it could be referenced. Right? We do stuff like that. So that's where your money goes when you donate to us. So thank you for helping us there. Thank you, Pat Cote. Thank you, Christine Lund. Thank you, Amos Elroy and Markus Krantz for joining us during the show. I wish I could put you all on camera, but I can't. I just can't.
It's okay.
Here, Christine here. Bing. There we go. There's Christine. It's been a good show. Thank you all. We will see you next Saturday. We'll have a Saturday show, and there will also be a Sunday show. There's no Progressive Oregon tomorrow because there's the Multnomah County reorg, and that's a big one. And Larry Taylor's getting involved with that because there's a lot of progressives that are actually running. We didn't lose our complete ass in Oregon. We're catching up here in some spaces, so there's a lot of groundwork happening there. To all of you in the audience, thank you so much. We had almost 70 people watching today live. That's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
I watched the numbers go up and down on our shows since day one, right? And it's nice to see them start to return to get more of an audience. And the best thing you guys can do to help us is to share this content. Let us know what you want to hear and what you want to see because it's your network, right? You make it happen, right? We're getting out of here with, what are we getting out of here with?
Barbara Dane.
That's right. And this, how did we get this picked, Markus? Tell us. I forgot.
I did not know the singer, and I think you did not know Barbara Dane either, right?
No.
Yes, it was a tip coming from a very nice woman I recently met, and she gave me the link to this video, and I researched Barbara Dane, and it came out that she is now 91 years old. She is still active. She is a very, very excellent jazz performer, blues performer, and she played with all the great ones in the music industry. And what was remarkable is that she, in the 1920s, she started to develop a kind of, how can I say it, emotion what protests etc. concerns. And she from this moment on, she started to protest against all possible things. She started in the 20s. She started to protest against racism and wanted equal rights. And I think it's very, very early and affords a lot of courage to do this at that time. And she never stopped this. She was also included in the anti-Vietnam protest movement, etc. And she's a remarkable woman. And from the song we are hearing now, she has a good mind about political things also. And she addresses capitalism in this song. And it's a great song, in my opinion, and I will definitely listen to more stuff of her.
There you go. Me too. So understand this is an American jazz singer who started activism at the age of 16. All right. I didn't know who she was. Markus didn't know who she was, but Marcus's German friend did. So
yeah, she did.
Thank you, Marcus's German friend, for introducing us to an American jazz singer.
Thank you, Heike.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heike, if you're watching the show. and I look forward to meeting you. I hope. We'll see. Got to get to Germany first. Anyway, thank you all for being here. It's been a wonderful show. And you guys have been awesome. It's been great. Here's the song. It's I Hate the Capitalist System. I do too.
Word.
By Barbara Dane. Here we go.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
I hate the capitalist system, and I'll tell you the reason why. It has caused me so much suffering and my dearest friends to die. Well, I know you all are wondering what it has done to me. Well, I am going to tell you that my husband has TB, brought on by hard work and low wages and never enough to eat, from going cold and hungry with no shoes upon his feet. My husband was a coal miner who worked hard and risked his life just trying to support 3 children, himself, his mother and wife. Well, I had a blue-eyed baby, was a darling of my heart, but from my little darling, her mother had to part, while the rich and mighty capitalist goes dressed in jewels and silk. My darling blue-eyed baby has died for the want of milk. Well, they call this land of plenty, and for them I guess it's true. For the rich and mighty capitalists, not for workers like me and you. Well, now, what can we do about it to these men of power and might? Well, I tell you, Mr. Capitalist, we are going to fight